Dear students, now we are going to discuss about the lesson Deep Water. Let us see the introduction of the lesson. The lesson Deep Water was written by William O. Douglas. Douglas was a leading advocate of individual rights. He was a judge at the Supreme Court of USA and he was retired in 1975 with a term lasting 36 years and remains the longest serving justice in the history of the court. The following lesson Deep Water is extracted from Of Men and Mountains by William O. Douglas. Let us see the summary of this lesson. The writer narrates his experience. He was 10 or 11 years old when he had joined the YMCA swimming pool to learn swimming. He did not go to the Yakima River to swim as it was considered dangerous. This shows that he had a prior fear of water. William's mother would warn him not to go to near Yakima River and would discuss the various incidents of drowning. He felt that the pool at YMCA was safer. The shallow area of the pool was only 2 or 3 feet deep while the deep area was 9 feet depth. He also got a pair of water wings to prevent drowning. He did not like to wear the swimming costume which exposed his thin legs, but as he was keen to swim, he gave up his self respect and wore it. William says that he had always disliked water and he recounts an older experience when he was 3 or 4 years old. He went to the beach in California with his father. They stood as a wave leaped towards him. William stuck to his father to save himself, but the strong wave threw him down and he was covered in water. He was scared as he could not breathe. His father laughed and tried to make him feel comfortable, but the little child was scared when he realized that the waves were so powerful. When William joined the swimming pool at the YMCA, the fear of water resurfaced in his mind. He gathered confidence by watching other boys swim and tried to copy them. When William reached the swimming pool, no one was there, and so he sat on the edge waiting for the other boys to arrive. He was afraid to swim all alone in the pool. As the swimming pool was empty, William could see the bottom also. It had white colored tiles on it and looked white and clean like a bathtub. It had not been long since William had been sitting by the pool when a boy arrived. He was around 18 years of age, had a well built body with rippling muscles. He seemed to be a bully. The 18-year-old boy picked William and threw him into the deep end of the swimming pool. William landed on the surface of the pool in the same position as he had been sitting in. His mouth was open, and as he did not know swimming, he swallowed water as he sank into the pool. He was frightened, but he used his intelligence and, on his way down the pool, planned to push himself up when he reached the bottom of the swimming pool. He thought that he would make a big jump to the surface, lie on his back, and swim to the edge of the pool. William took a long time to reach the bottom of the pool. It seemed that the depth was 90 feet instead of 9 feet. He could not hold his breath and felt as if his lungs would burst. When his feet touched the bottom of the pool, he gathered all his strength and jumped upwards. He had thought that the next moment he would come out of the pool, but the opposite happened. His movement upwards was slow, and when he opened his eyes, he saw water all around, which was yellowish in color. William got scared and tried to grab something, a rope which would help him reach the edge of the pool, but he got nothing other than water. William was at a loss of breath and tried to scream for help, but no sound came out of his mouth. His nose and eyes came out of water, but his mouth remained in it. William waved his hands at the surface of the water for help, but he swallowed water and choked himself. He tried to pull his legs up, but they were very heavy and lifeless. He felt that something was pulling him towards the depth of the pool. He screamed, but his voice did not go out of the water. Once again, William started going down towards the bottom of the swimming pool. William tried to save himself from the drowning in the pool, and he compares his situation to a person who sees a nightmare and fights against the dreadful dream, but it is unable to ward it off. William was breathless, he felt pain in his lungs, and his head felt a sensation of beating. He was getting unconscious, but he could recollect the plan to save himself. As his feet touched the bottom, he would take a leap and jump up to the surface in a jiffy. Then he would lie on his back, hit the strokes with his limbs, and reach to the edge of the pool to safety. William sank into the pool, and the journey downwards seemed endless. He opened his eyes. There was water all around. This terrorized William. He says that his feeling cannot be explained, but it can only be understood by those who have experienced a similar situation. He was screaming in the water. He was unable to move due to fear. His screams also froze. Only his heartbeat and the beating in his head indicated that he was alive. In between the phase of terror, William recollected the plan that he had to take a jump as he touched the bottom of the pool. As he felt the tiles of the bottom of the pool, his feet used all the strength he had and he jumped up. The effort went vain. He was still submerged in the water. He looked around for help, for any rope, ladder, or water wing with the help of which he could rescue himself. He could only see water all around him. It was a chunk of yellow water had grabbed him. The terror grew intense. It was like an electric shock that ran through the whole body. He trembled with fright. He could neither move his limbs nor call out for help. Something strange happened, and William saw light. His eyes came out of the water. His nose was almost out of it. Then he started going downwards into the pool for the third time. He tried to breathe but gulped water instead. Then he stopped making efforts to save himself. William relaxed. His legs became lifeless and his brain experienced a blackout. The fear ended. He did not panic. He became quiet and experienced peace. He was not afraid of drowning anymore. He felt sleepy and he was tired to jump up. Felt nice to be carried in his mother's arms as he felt sleepy. William became unconscious as he drifted away towards death. When William gained consciousness, he was lying on his stomach beside the pool and was vomiting. He heard someone scolding the boy who had pushed him into the pool. The voice said that William had almost died, and the boy replied that he was fooling with him. The voice asked the boy to carry William to the locker room. After many hours, William walked home. He felt weak and shivered. He kept on crying as he lay on the bed. He was unable to eat food. The fear kept on haunting him for many days. The incident made him physically upset. The slightest work made him feel that his knees were unable to bear his weight. He would feel like vomiting. William did not go to the swimming pool as he feared the water. he remained away from water. After some years, William came to know of waterfall and wanted to go in it. Whenever he went for swimming in different rivers like the Titan Bumping River, warm lake of the God Rocks, the fear of water returned. It would grab him completely, disable his limbs, and grab his heart. The fear of water remained with William as he grew up. On the boating trips to different lakes in the Maine region, New Hampshire, Deschutes, Metolius, Columbia, and Bumping River, where he fished different varieties of fish, the fear followed him. His fishing trips were destroyed as he did not enjoy boating and swimming due to the fear. William tried to ward off the fear but was unable to get rid of it. Finally, in the month of October, he hired an instructor to teach him swimming. He would practice for an hour each day, 5 days a week. William describes the learning process. The instructor put a belt around William's waist. The belt was attached to a thick rope. The rope went through an overhead pulley and was held by the instructor. It ensured that in case William drowned, the instructor would pull him out. William swam across the length of the pool for several weeks. Whenever the instructor loosened the rope, he went down into the water and the fear would return. After the 3 months of practice, that William got comfortable, then the instructor taught him to breathe in the water. He taught him to put his face under the water and exhale his breath. He was taught to raise his nose out of the water and inhale. William practiced several times. Gradually, he got rid of the panic that would grab him when he put his head under the water. In the third phase of the learning process, the instructor taught William to kick the water surface with his legs. He did this for many weeks. Initially, his legs did not move, but gradually they relaxed, and finally, William could order them to kick in the desired way. William swam like this till the month of July, but was not satisfied. He wanted to be sure all of the fear had left him. So he went to Lake Wentworth in New Hampshire, dived into it from Triggs Island, and swam for 2 miles up to Stamp Act Island. He swam in different styles: crawl, breaststroke, side stroke, and backstroke. The terror returned only once when he was in the middle of the lake. When he put his head under water, he saw water all around and the fear returned. This time, William laughed at the terror and said to it that it could not harm him. He saw that the terror vanished and he resumed swimming. William still had some doubt about the fear, so he hurried towards the western direction. He went up the Titan, reached Conrad Meadows, walked up the Conrad Creek Trail to Maid Glacier. He camped at the meadow by the warm lake. The next morning, he wore the swimming costume and dived into the lake. He swam across it to the other end and returned. William shouted with joy as he had overcome his fear. His voice resounded as the mountain peak named Gilbert Peak echoed it. He had overcome the fear. He realized that death was peaceful and only the fear of death was fearful. He recollects the words of one of the presidents of America, Roosevelt. Roosevelt had said that all we have to fear is fear itself. As William had experienced death and the fear of death, his desire to live grew immensely. He felt released from fear and was free to walk up the trails and climb up the mountains fearlessly. This is a summary of the lesson Deep Water. And dear students, I hope you all understand this summary. Thank you.